9:22 on this Wednesday morning. We have just over a month until the primary election here in Arizona. It's on August 28th. Don't forget that. Dr. Kelli Ward is seeking the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate, and that seat now open after Senator Jeff Flake announced that he was not seeking re-election. So in the primary, Kelli Ward will face off against Representative Martha McSally and former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio. The winner will then go on to face the Democratic nominee in November on the 6th. That race includes Dr. Deidre Abood and Representative Kirsten Sinema. So Dr. Ward joining us in studio this morning to talk about what she is focusing on with this election. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning,
I know you're all about President Trump's platform and making America great and downsizing our government. Is that pretty much sum it up?
Exactly right. Yeah, lower taxes, fewer regulations, personal responsibility, and following the Constitution. We can't go wrong, left or right. Those are things I think that we really can unite on to keep the country moving in the right direction.
Is it really possible to downsize the government? Because I've heard that my whole life.
Yeah. Well, you have to send the right people there that are willing to do it. Unfortunately, we have people who are addicted to spending on both the left and the right, and it's taking from my kids, it's taking from your kids, and we've got to get things under control.
Let me ask you about Brett Kavanaugh, the new nomination. I'm assuming you, well, I saw your tweet that you like him. The Democrats, of course, are saying that he is a danger to everyone. What's your view on that?
Well, I mean, I think that the Democrats were protesting before we even knew who the nominee is. And I think that Judge Kavanaugh was an excellent pick. He's got a lot of experience. He's got what I consider the most important piece. He says that the Constitution says what the Constitution says, and it doesn't say what it doesn't say. And he says that we're going to apply the law as written. We aren't going to put other things that are outside what's written on that paper whenever they're interpreting things, and I think it's great. I also thought he was wonderful on television. His family was right there. He was funny. He was smart. I think he's a great pick for the Supreme Court.
Let's talk about the border and immigration. That'll be the hot topic for sure coming up in the election, and I know you're for the wall. Families being separated right now, that's in the news. I know you've said that, of course, you didn't want to see any children taken away from their parents. We also know that there are children being held who are brought to the border without their parents. Right. So not sure where their parents are, but how do you see all of this? The president has said that don't try to cross illegally, and that's not going to be the issue. And he also blames the Democrats for not coming up with a law. How do you see all of this?
Well, I mean, I think the federal government has failed us again and again and again.
It seems, yeah, I was going to say, from our point, it seems like nobody's getting anything done, left or right.
That's right. And it started back in 1986 when one of my favorite presidents, Ronald Reagan, granted amnesty and then trusted Congress to deliver on border security. It didn't happen then, and it won't happen now if we don't do it in the right order, which is why I'm such a strong advocate of securing the border and building the wall. It's a symbol of a right and wrong way to come into the country, but it's also a significant deterrent to the people who are trying to bring bad things into the country. The traffickers, the drug cartels who are bringing drugs and weapons and people across that border. And we're seeing that kind of come to a crescendo down at the border with the children. And many of those children are not associated with those families, and that's the thing that we have to stop. Whenever I hear Border Patrol agents talking about 12-year-old girls who their moms put on birth control because they know they're going to be raped as they come across their journey, 4-year-olds with the only connection to their dad as a magic marker phone number written on their t-shirt, or 9-year-old boys dying in the desert of heat exhaustion with no family around, it breaks my heart.
It can't be an easy situation for the government. They missed that deadline in getting the children back to their parents. How do they go about that?
Well, when 10,000 of the 12,000 children we have in custody came to this country without their parents, it is a huge challenge. Where do we find these parents? Do we go and search in Mexico, in Guatemala, in El Salvador, in Honduras to look for those parents who sent their children across across this border, put their kids in danger to come to this country illegally? It's a big challenge, and I'm glad that HHS and DHS are stepping up and trying to put people back together who deserve to be together.
What can you do for the VA hospital? It seems like everybody says they're going to go in there and fix it. I follow this guy on Twitter who says it took him a year and a half to get the care that he needed, and that it's still, the problems are still there. What can you do?
Well, I mean, I'm a military wife, and my husband served for 33 years. So our military and our veterans are very, very important to me. And as a physician, I think that My health policy experience, my master's in public health, my time in private practice and medical education makes me uniquely positioned to be able to help our regular healthcare system as well as the VA system that has been falling down on the job for way too long. We've got to honor our promises to those men and women who signed on the line to protect our liberty and freedom. I think I'm the person to go to Washington and get it done.
You say you want to get rid of fake conservatives. Is Senator Flake one of those?
Oh, yes. I mean, I think that President Trump called it out, whatever he said. I'm so glad Dr. Kelli Ward is running because Jeff Flake, is weak on borders. He's bad on crime, and he's toxic. And what has been shown is that my opponent, actually Martha McSally, is even worse than Jeff Flake, sadly. So we've got a choice to make in Arizona, and I think people want to put someone in office who puts people over politics and policy over political party. That's what my record is as a very successful Arizona State Senator. I look forward to getting to Washington, getting to work for you and for all the people who are watching.
Dr. Ward, thank you so much for your time. I wish we had more. Primary coming up on August 28th, and then, of course, the general on November 6th. So we appreciate you stopping by, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.